Hi everyone, Eddie here. In this video we're going to talk through how to start setting up our Postgres SQL database. So we can see here, and this is maybe not exactly what you're going to see. You might see this welcome. As you work with this, it's going to bring up different pages kind of naturally, but basically, when you open up pgadmin 4, which you can get to just in your Windows 11 or whatever Windows you're using, just look for pgadmin. During the install process, you're going to be asked to create a username and a password, and I just usually set them both to Postgres. This is a sample. If you're doing this with real stuff, you want to actually make this a strong password and not have it saved in a text file like this. But for my purposes, I just want it to be easy to remember, so I made user Postgres, password Postgres. So you have to set a username and a password, and you don't want to forget them. So getting into pgadmin 4, and I'm gonna just delete all that. In pgadmin, there's a lot going on, and we can do queries. That's where SQL, structured query language, comes from. But before we do that, we want to just sort of set up our databases. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this one, and it will be dramatic. And it may not let me drop, but okay, there it goes. So I had to force it. So it should come with a normal database called Postgres, which is just the user name I called it. And I'm just going to create a new one, and I'm going to call it Ignition, or Ignition Lab. We can call it that. Um, Owner is going to be Postgres. That's just the name I gave myself. If you give yourself a different username, that's what it's going to be. We can look at these different parameters. We're going to not really worry about that. You can just do just that for the time being and hit save. And you'll see that we have an Ignition Lab database. And under this, we have a lot of different things happening. So event triggers, there's a lot of different sort of scary looking things. And what we care about is we want to go under schemas. And there's only one, there's just the public schema. And we want to go to tables. And we want to create ourselves a table. So we can do this with a query over here. So the name of this table is going to be log data, or log memory tags. And I usually do it like that with the underscores. Again, the owner is going to be Postgres. We can kind of leave that alone. We can go to our columns. And we do want to make these columns. So we're going to have the first one be the ID. And we're going to make it an integer. And we want it to be not null in the primary key. And then we're going to make one called motor running. Actually, no, it's going to be, sorry, T-stamp, which stands for timestamp. And this is going to be a time with time zone. And it's going to be not null. And I may have to fix these later, but I'm just going to show you what they sort of look like to begin with. The next one, so these are just going to be kind of identifiers. So this is going to just give every piece of data an ID. And this one's going to tell us what time it gets logged. So here we are going to create a tank level, which is going to be a float or a real. And then we'll create another one that's going to be called pump motor speed. And that's going to be a real. A real number is just something with a decimal point. An integer doesn't have a decimal point, it just counts by 1, so the ID number for each of these entries is just going to go up by 1. These do not have to be not null, that just means you're forcing it to have a value, otherwise it won't be valid. Next, we're going to say motor running, and that's going to be a bool or boolean. Those can be true or false. And then finally, we're going to have one called temp for temperature, and that's also going to be a real. And I'm just going to hit save, and that should be my table, and these are my columns. So over here on the right, we can hit this, I'll get out of that. Query space, and we can type in select all from, that asterisk just means everything, log memory tags. And then we put a semicolon, which just means that's the end of our query. And then I can hit execute script. And I'm going to hit continue. And it looks like because I deleted things, that's okay. I'm going to just close out of that. Don't save. So I'm going to click on this log memory tags and go to query tool, and that's how I'm going to pull that up. So now I can try it again, select all from log memory tags and hit run. Oh, I didn't spell select correctly. And again, I like to leave these mistakes in because I want you to sort of see what it looks like to sort of struggle with this in real time. I think that's important because it's really easy for it to always be perfect. And sometimes when you're working with this stuff, it is not. And you can see here, it pulls up all these different columns. There's nothing in it yet. So it has our ID. It says PK primary key. That just means it's kind of the main identifier. So if we want to link it to another table, that primary key is a good way to do that. And it tells us what these other things are. So at this point, we have our table set up, and next we're going to put something in the table just to test it.